As we age, our skin thins and we're more susceptible to dehydration, to age spots, to sun damage, to wrinkles, fine lines, all of that stuff, lackluster skin. So what can we do to head that off at the past, to mitigate that in our daily routine? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're new here, my name is Penny. I'm a master esthetician. I love to do videos like this. I'd love to share the things that just jazz my mind about the relationship between our wellness and also skincare. I love to do product reviews, and I just love everything to do with skincare. If that sounds good to you, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel before you go. What is healthy, youthful looking skin? I would actually say that hydration in the skin is number one when it comes to the way that our skin looks. I've told this story before, but when I was in clinic and I would work on clients, I would do facials, I would do all these wonderful treatments. I would use tools and microcurrent, and I would do microneedling, and I would do all of these different treatments. But when I did a very basic facial on someone, they would literally walk out looking 5 to 10 years younger, and the reason for that was simply hydration. It really makes a profound effect on the way that our skin looks and ultimately the way that our skin behaves. So what can we do to improve the elasticity of our skin, improve the hydration of our skin, and give us our best face forward? Number one tip is to get more sleep. Now, before you click off of here, I want you to know that this isn't just somebody saying, get more sleep, it could make you look less puffy or your dark circles. No, there is science behind sleep and its correlation to the hydration of our skin. There is a study, and it is a study of skin characteristics with long-term sleep restriction in Korean women in their 40s. This study evaluated skin changes with sleep limited to 4 hours a night for 6 nights in a row. The results of this study are pretty remarkable. Now remember, this is 4 hours a night for 6 nights. So it's not like people weren't sleeping at all. And I know there are a lot of you out there who live off of 4 to 5 hours of sleep. So listen to what it can actually be doing to your skin over the long term. The results of the study were this: skin hydration was significantly reduced after 1 day of sleep deprivation, and it continued to decrease. Skin gloss, desquamation, transparency, elasticity, and wrinkles were significantly aggravated after 1 day of sleep deprivation. Skin texture was significantly aggravated on the 4th day of sleep restriction. Elasticity was most affected by reduced sleep, indicating a significant decrease over time as compared to the other characteristics. So of all of the things most affected was the elasticity of their skin. I think we all know that getting enough sleep is really important to all kinds of functions, but the science, it shows that if you don't get enough sleep, you have less hydrated skin, and less hydrated skin means you have less elastic skin. It means that wrinkles are exacerbated. It means that it's going to look lackluster and dull. So getting some sleep is super important. Now, okay, that's really easy to say, but how do we do that? In the morning before 10, if you get outside, you get, maybe 10, 15 minutes of that really early morning sun, it can affect your circadian rhythm, helping you to get sleep at night, believe it or not. It's a wonderful habit, and it actually really is one of those things that sets your day in motion in a really great way. It's free, it's easy to do, it gets a little bit of exercise, and it will affect your entire life by that one little habit. I actually follow somebody called Huberman. If you've heard of him, definitely comment down below. I'm gonna link some of his socials, etc., because he has some really, really great tips on how to improve sleep, how, habits that will make your life better when it comes to sleep and it comes to circadian rhythm, etc. Valuable, valuable information, all free. Things that if you just implement some changes, you're gonna see change in your body, but you're gonna see change in your skin. If you can go from 4, 5 hours of sleep to 7, you have probably just improved the quality of your skin exponentially. Next, I want to talk about topical hydration when it comes to peptides. Now, we all know about hydrating our skin with humectants. So we've heard of hyaluronic acid. We know about beta-glucan and sodium PCA. We know about all of these things that are humectants that we can get in serums that are going to help to plump up and hydrate the skin. My recommendation to you is If you love those kind of things, that's awesome. I love beta-glucan myself. I love sodium PCA. I love panthenol. I love all that stuff myself. But my recommendation is to consider getting your hydration from products that contain peptides. Peptides are basically a chain of amino acids and eventually form proteins like collagen, elastin, all this stuff, right? Peptides are really great because they bind water and so they hydrate the skin, but they have a dual function. They can also help to encourage collagen production and they can be protective of our elastin. So I kind of feel like peptides take the hydration that humectants can do and they take it to the next level because they're also helping with that collagen production, that elastin protection. Now you can look at Matrixyl 3000. There are so many different peptides. Look through your products and look for your serums or your moisturizers that contain peptides and know that those peptides are going to help with hydration. They are not just some rando ingredient. They're actually probably the best ingredient we can use if we are over 40 years old that isn't retinoids or SPF. A famous peptide on this channel anyway is OS01 from OneSkin. And it's really interesting because you don't have to have this peptide, but I was looking through some of their blogs, etc., and some of their studies, and I came across a study that they have done that was a 12-week study, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen and I'm gonna share this with you. They did a 12-week clinical study to validate a study that they had done before. So they'd done a study before, but the study was on skin in a dish. So they went ahead and they did independent, double-blinded type of study over 12 weeks on actual human skin. So the participants in the study were composed of 22 females aged 47 to 65, and they had all different types of skin, so dry, normal, and combination skin. And what they did was they had these women put on half of their face OS01 in its formulation, the face product, right? And then on the other half of their face, they put the same formulation but minus the peptide. So it was the entire formula without the OS01 peptide in it. And then they assessed these women over 12 weeks. Okay, so they measured skin hydration, they measured the barrier function, and they also measured the skin appearance. Now, this was a blinded clinical grade evaluation. So the experts that evaluated the women were unaware of the type of formulation used. So they didn't know that. They evaluated the participant's skin for fine lines, for wrinkles, for skin tone, evenness of the skin, for pores, skin texture, smoothness, firmness, elasticity, radiance, luminosity, and overall appearance. Now, we also had some self-reporting. So you had the participants letting them know how they evaluated themselves, how they saw themselves. Okay, so for hydration, the study was conducted over the winter. So when they started the study, they expected to see the skin get more dehydrated over the course of winter, as it typically does, just in general, right? And what they found was the side that was treated with the formula that did not have the OS1 peptide, it did indeed decrease in hydration. The side that had the formulation plus the peptide, so the actual face formula, that side just maintained hydration. I think that that's pretty incredible because just maintaining hydration is incredibly important. Now, when it comes to skin barrier function, the side that did not have the peptide, it maintained its skin barrier. They measure that in transepidermal water loss. So they measure your barrier function by how much water you lose through your barrier. So a healthy barrier is able to retain water efficiently and effectively, whereas a compromised barrier loses a lot more water than it should. So on this side with the formula without the peptide, it maintained its skin barrier. It did not have any excess water loss. But on the side with the peptide, it actually improved the barrier function by like 15%. So it maintained the barrier function, it held in the water that it should, and it held in extra water, improving the hydration levels and improving the skin barrier function. Skin barrier function is so important because that gives our skin the best opportunity to create collagen, to protect the elastin, to be vibrant and bouncy, and to look its best. I thought that that was really interesting. And the thing about this is just looking at this one particular peptide. There are so many different peptides on the market, and so many of them can have a really amazing change and a really amazing effect on our skin hydration, our barrier function, as well as transepidermal water loss. Obviously, they looked at this one particular peptide in their product, but I think it's pretty safe to say that many, many, many peptides would also be great at improving our barrier function and improving the hydration of our skin, since we know that peptides bind water, hydrate the skin, and so many of them are really great at improving our barrier function. So look through your products and choose to use morning and night a product that contains peptides, whether it's OneSkin or it's some other serum that you have. Drinking water. Now, it's interesting to me because some experts, some dermatologists actually say that drinking water itself is not going to lead to hydration in your skin. There's no direct relationship between drinking a bunch of water and your skin looking glowy and hydrated. And I suppose that the actual physiology of that is true, but I want to tell you a story. A few years ago, my mom had surgery, and she had just finished her breast cancer journey, and so she'd gone through radiation. And radiation tends to dehydrate you on the inside. So she was really dehydrated in general on the inside, and we didn't really realize how dehydrated she was. She had to go in for a surgery, and anesthesia dehydrates you a little bit more. When she got out of that surgery, she literally looked like she'd aged about 25 years laying there in recovery. So much so that it was a little bit unnerving as to her state of health in that moment. I told the nurse on duty that I think my mom is really, really dehydrated, and I hope that you can give her some bags of fluid. I mean, she just went through radiation and yada, yada, yada. So that nurse, that amazing nurse, went ahead and started loading my mom up with bags of hydration. Bags of hydration later, my mom looked like she had just aged backwards. I almost wish I would have taken it before and after. My mind wasn't in that state at that moment. But seriously, you guys, the impact of internal hydration, that's an extreme example, but the impact of internal hydration cannot be underestimated. Maybe drinking tons and tons of water and electrolytes and things like that isn't going to necessarily improve your skin past what it just should be, but certainly we know that dehydration is going to have a negative impact on our skin and the way that we look. So our cells are all comprised, they have a bunch of water in them, and when they are dehydrated, they are going to look less than vibrant. So get at least enough water every day, and do your best to start your day with some water. A habit that I have created for myself that is non-negotiable every single morning for me is when I wake up, instead of grabbing a cup of coffee first thing, I actually mix myself up an electrolyte drink. You don't have to have electrolytes. I actually really like that because it makes it really palatable and drinkable. And sometimes first thing in the morning, you don't feel like just chugging a glass of water. I actually get at least 12 ounces, which isn't a ton, but I drink all of that with any of the supplements or anything like that I do. But it's a habit where I hydrate myself before I move on into coffee or tea or anything like that that's dehydrating. Hydrating from the inside, I don't care what anybody says, it's going to improve the way that our biggest organ looks. It also can really improve the way that like our lips look. I don't know, but anytime that I'm dehydrated, my lips look terrible. They look dry, they look cracked, they look flaky, they look shriveled, they just don't look good. When I am on top of my water game, my lips look so much better, and to me that is a massive indicator of what it can do for everywhere. If this little spot here is dehydrated, flaky, and dry, you gotta know that you're lacking hydration everywhere. The impact should not be underestimated. So do yourself a favor and try, starting tomorrow morning, wake up and hydrate yourself first before you do anything else. Get yourself a nice big glass of water, add some lemon to it, put some electrolytes in it, drink plain water. However you do, Get yourself some hydration before anything else. So to sum it up here, you guys, science says there is a direct relationship between the amount of sleep that we get and the hydration levels of our skin. The hydration levels of our skin are directly related to the elasticity, the bounce, and the vibrancy of our skin. So get yourself a little extra sleep. Do everything that you can to get some quality sleep. Like I said, I'm going to put in the description box some links to some resources to help you better your sleep. Second, definitely consider using peptides in your skincare if you are not already. Look through your skincare, prioritize humectants and moisturizers with peptides in them. Third, drink enough water. You definitely should be drinking enough water so that your tissue is adequately hydrated from the inside out. If you implement all of this week, you could mark your calendar. This week, by this day next week, I bet you anything your skin is going to look improved. If every day you make that small change, you get a little bit more sleep, you wake up and you drink some water, you always wear your sunscreen, you add an antioxidant, and you hydrate with skincare products that contain peptides. Any peptides you want. Pick the peptides. Anytime you see peptides in the ingredient deck, that's a good thing. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you have a really fantastic week ahead, and I'll talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.